Now, in addition to people like Fred Hampton and Stokely Carmichael and Bob Brown, there have been other figures in your life that you've associated with and have played kind of a mentor role. I think of Huey Newton.
Sure.
What was the relationship
Well,
with Huey?
Huey, I tell you, Huey, again, it goes back to, I guess you would call it academic leanings or intellectual leanings, or, my yearn to learn, And Huey, I was so impressed with Huey because Huey was really a street person, but he was also a real intellectual. I mean, Huey ultimately got his PhD from University of Chicago at Santa Clara, a PhD in philosophy, But Huey was always driving us to read different kinds of really some extraordinary books and think a certain way. And he, because we believed in theory and practice, so you had to have the theory down pat, just as well as you had the practice down pat. And so I think I view Huey as being an inspiration primarily because of his intellectual drive. I mean, Huey had us reading Immanuel Kant. He had us reading Kierkegaard. He had us reading Nietzsche. He had us reading, of course, Mao and Stalin and Trotsky, and but Huey had us reading. He had us reading, getting into a lot of dialectical materialism, and so we weren't just a bunch of empty guns out there. He had us really studying theory and things like that. And I remember I was most impressed with Huey in this instance. I remember back in, I believe it was 71 and 72, I accompanied him along with a couple of other pastors to Yale University. And Huey had a colloquy with, he was a person who he was with it was a philosopher. He's a childhood. He's a philosopher of development. Okay, I can't. His name will come back to me. But Huey had a colloquy with this guy, and it was just amazing seeing him in discussions with this guy who was he's a preeminent philosopher and a follower of Freud. I can't remember his name, but anyway, I was so impressed with Huey because it was just amazing to see this young man, who was a street guy but a philosopher, having those kind of discussions with him.
Now, later you become aligned with Harold Washington.
Harold Washington.
What was it about Harold Washington that attracted you, and what did you, if any, what did you learn from Harold Washington?
Same thing. You're asking these questions, and for the most part, it's the same thing. It's having your game together in terms of your thought processes, your philosophy, your study, being smart, and also putting that into practice. Harold Washington was a person who also loved to read. Okay, he was very, very, very articulate. But Harold had the commonness. He was able to get
common touch.
Had the common touch, and so that was the same thing. That's the same thing that attracted me to Huey, attracted me to Harold, and attracted me to Fred, and to others, and attracted me to you too.
Oh,
okay, yes, absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I went to a party last night for Heather Booth.
Oh, yeah.
And
Heather,
people talked a great deal about if Harold had been there, he would have said, Heather is the most loquacious, stupendous, and used a series of big words.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And people said, and you would have understood what he meant.
Sure, absolutely. Well, sometimes you didn't understand. Sometimes he would drive you to a dictionary.
Yes,
that's
incredible
all right.
guy.
Yeah.